What's going on, everyone? It's John back again, and I'm here as well, apparently. I'll tell you what, John, before we start any of this, there was a massive twist in the comments, weren't there? There was a huge twist in the comments. I need to bring the guy up because we're going to ask him to do a cameo.
We need to talk about Spamgate.
It's actually unbelievable, isn't it, John? Really, it really is. So the person who did the spam advert is only an Everton fan. He commented in the video. It was absolutely sensational. So Michael Green too, you know who you are. Send me an email and we will get that spam advert on this channel because, funny enough, spam wins. After all that, spam wins, John. It wins. It wins.
There was never going to be any other outcome. Let's be honest about it. It was a stupid shout by you.
The problem is I don't like either. So to me, when you just look at it, it just looks like rubber, horrible stuff.
I don't like spam, but I can eat a pork pie. But what puzzles me is, how can you not like pork pies when you look like a fucking big, massive one anyway?
This is because your mother is a feeder. So every time I go, not only do I sort her out, she sorts me out with a 3-course meal after.
Brilliant.
And then an extra round.
Now that's you. You're an extra round.
Right, let's get into it anyway. Right. Rumours. But I think the one that I want to start with is Calvert-Lewin has been linked with Manchester United today. Now, I mean, look, Calvert-Lewin is probably Man United's level, being honest. You know, a team that finishes, 16th, 17th in the league, can't score goals. He probably fits into that team quite well, really, doesn't he?
I was just going to say that he'll fit in well there. Another couple of teams he has been linked with. I think one of them was Newcastle, which... Dominic Calvert-Lewin's been linked with Newcastle quite a few times. And if rumours, again, there were rumours were to be believed. I think it was last summer's transfer window. Newcastle were happy to take Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but apparently it fell through because of his wage demands. And it's probably the same wage demands that he's trying to get off Everton, which he's not going to get. Since he's come to Everton Football Club, we've spoke consistently on here how many goals he averages a season. I actually think he's got a cheek to be asking what he's asking for a week, which I think is over £120,000 a week. He's not going to get it off Everton. If Newcastle or Man United are silly enough to pay that and he needs a lift there, I will drop him off.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm Forest as well. They're after him.
Look, this one, it just baffles me, to be honest. It just baffles me because I don't get how we've got to this point where the Everton fans in the majority are happy for him to go. And he got offered a contract, he turned it down. He now apparently has got 3 or 4 clubs after him, which have come out of the woodwork. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like all Evertonians, Everton players, everyone, I wish them all the best, and I wish Calvert-Lewin all the best at his new club. There's rumours are that he's confirmed he's not going to sign a new deal. That wasn't widespread yesterday, so I don't know how sold I am on that. But apparently he's not going to sign a new deal, so he won't be an Everton player. But this is exactly what we asked for, John, closure, so we can move on as a football club and go and get a striker we need.
Do you know the more I look at it, though, why has there got to be any announcement? We all know, everyone at the club knows that his contract expires on the 30th of June. I know Everton have said with some of the players who are leaving, that once their contract runs out, they won't be here. At the end of the day, mate, if his contract runs out at the 30th of June and he's not going to sign another one come the 30th of June, we thank him for his services, for what he has done in fits and starts. And he goes and... Listen, I've always said people have opinions and it'd be boring if everyone agreed. I've always said that on social media. But I just don't get some Everton fans would be happy for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to stay. I really don't. And, you know, there's fans out there who go, well, he lacks service. Listen, he hasn't lacked service for 8 years since he's been at the club. And there was a stat that went round the other night of how many goals he's scored each season. And yes, granted, Carlo Ancelotti said to him, don't come out that box. Stay in that box predominantly and you'll get more goals. And he did. And no other manager has said that. But I think going forward, and we keep speaking about going forward because of the situation Everton in now with the new owners, there is money to spend, the new ground, and obviously David Moyes has come in and we've seen what he's done since he come into the end of the season. Just don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin pushes up the table and takes us to the next level. I think there's a lot better out there for less wages than what he's asking for.
Yeah. And some of those players we've been linked with, you know, we've been linked with Barry and Watermaid, and we also have been linked with an Icelandic striker, I think, called Goodmanson.
Yeah.
Who was on loan last season at one of the Italian clubs, I think it was. I'm not sold on that one as much as I'm sold on the other two from what I've seen, if I'm being honest. Now, I'm not going to pretend to have been a scout. I'm not going to pretend to have seen him performing week in, week out. But I'm just not as sold on him as I am on the other two, if I'm being honest.
I haven't watched much of him, to be fair, because I don't think there's much link into that. I do think the other two players, i.e. Barry and Waltmead, I think the links are a lot stronger for them too. And I have looked at some of the clips, and you know, we've both looked at the stats for them players, and I'd be happy with any of them. And I think either of them who come into the club will improve us, still will score more goals. But we also need a forward, Michael, who will get the better out of midfield as well.
Yeah.
We need a centre forward who, you know, if you look at Beto's come on leaps and bounds under David Moyes. And if we don't bring a striker in, then Beto is going to be our number one striker next season. Because for me, in my opinion, he's better than Calvert-Lewin. We haven't seen enough of Chimiti, but I want a centre forward to come in. Waltmead, that one looks more of a David Moyes player, in my opinion, where he will drop short and he will bring the wingers in and he will hold the ball up. He's, for a big fella, we said it on the other night, he's good with both feet, he's good in the air, he'll run at the opposition's defence, and as I say, he will hold the ball up. And the way David Moyes is talking about how he wants to play on the front foot and he wants more quality in the final third, I think a player the likes of that Waltmead, if you can bring more quality into the midfield, obviously we've got Ndiaye there, he will bring the better out of the midfield, because inadvertently, if he's holding the ball up, he can then get in the box once he's laid it off. And we've seen David Moyes' teams play like that. He's done it at West Ham, he's done it in Everton's first stint. David Moyes likes to play like that. So for me, out of the three of them that we've been linked with, I think Waltmead will suit Everton and David Moyes' style of play more than the other two.
To be honest, he's the one that I want out the three, if I'm being honest. But I just think I don't think it's an easy ask, if you get what I mean. Some rumours around, well, it's not rumours really. I wanted to talk about it because I've seen a couple of people yet again shitting on Jordan Pickford. And I wanted to bring it up because I know it's not transfer related, but I'm almost fed up of it. 4 or 5 years ago, me and you probably had the same opinion at the time, that we thought maybe Pickford had too many mistakes in him and that we would change Pickford. And I come out on this channel. We had Ben from what's the podcast called again? View from the Bullens. We had Ben from A View from the Bullens on, and obviously we all discussed it. And he come out with some really good points at the time. Ben, he had some stats, if I remember, and he really reeled them off. And he sort of changed my opinion on Pickford. And Pickford, he's grown and grown and grown. And this whole debate around this England international number one goalkeeper, etc., it winds me up, John. It winds me up because Jordan Pickford is head and shoulders above any other English goalkeeper as of right now. And I'd actually go further than that. There is probably less than 3. He's certainly in the top 5 English goalkeepers of all time.
So when you talk about the time that, we spoke with Ben on here about he had a mistake in him, Jordan Pickford. He did have a mistake, and he was quite erratic at times, Jordan Pickford, and things like that. But for me, I think what's brought Jordan Pickford on in leaps and bounds is the shit that this football club has had to put up with on the pitch in the last couple of years with the relegation dogfights that we've been in. Because for me, Jordan Pickford, some of them seasons, has practically kept this football club up single-handedly. Now, you've got lazy journalism yesterday, I can't remember who it was, basically saying that Tuchel has come out and said that Jordan Pickford needs to be playing European football, otherwise his England spot is under jeopardy. Now, Jordan Pickford has got Aaron Ramsdale and probably Nick Pope to vie for that number 1 spot. Now, them 2 other keepers aren't good enough to lace Jordan Pickford's boots. But you've got it with Jarrett Branthwaite as well, Michael. The same thing is happening to him, because I guarantee you right now, if Jarrett Branthwaite played for one of the Sky Darlings, the Premier League love him, with the top 6, he would be in that England squad. He'd be in Barcelona today. Jarrett Branthwaite would. Injuries apart, if Jarrett Branthwaite was fit for every international call-up that England put their squad together, if he played for the likes of City or the other lost across the park or Arsenal or Chelsea, even Man United, he will consistently get picked for that England team. And there's rumours have gone round in the past what they're doing now with Jordan Pickford about the manager wants these players playing in European football. Now, Jordan Henderson, by all accounts, is playing today. I think he started today. He's played in the Saudi League for the last 2 years, but he's still getting picked. Now, how can a manager come out and say Jordan Pickford needs to be playing European football when he's picking the likes of Ivan Toney and Jordan Henderson, who are playing in the Saudi League, which is a shit league? And Thomas Tuchel hasn't even been over to Saudi to watch how Toney's done. But yet again, they're trying to disrespect Everton Football Club and Jordan Pickford by putting pressure on his head to push for a move from our club. I honestly think Jordan Pickford is the sort of fella to turn around and say to Thomas Tuchel, if you're not happy with the club I'm at, fuck your England, because Jordan Pickford is very settled at Everton. His family are very settled in the Northwest. So for me, I think it's shocking that, again, our number 1 keeper and England's number 1 keeper has got these rumours circulating that he has to be playing for a European in a European competition to keep his place for the international team. I think it's an absolute disgrace, and it's always Everton who are targeted. We've had it with Branthwaite, and now we're having it with Jordan Pickford, and it's fucking not on.
Yeah, so I just want to correct a couple of things that John has just said there, because it's key. So Jordan Henderson plays at Ajax.
He does now. No, he does now.
Yeah.
I know he does now. That's why I said he's not there anymore, but Tony is. I know he's moved to Ajax, but he was still getting picked in the England squads when he was playing in that shit league.
No. But the other thing is, it's not actually Thomas Tuchel who's caused this issue. It's Matt Law, because Thomas Tuchel's actual statement is, all 3 of our goalkeepers are not involved in European football. They're not used to European football, which would be ideal, said Tuchel. It's not a problem. Jordan behaves and trains at the highest level, and we're very, very happy with him. He's doing everything at the moment to keep his place, because he feels that Dean stepped up and found another level, another gear. He also found a title and a decisive role at Crystal Palace. He got an opportunity and a vital title for his club, and he was a big figure in his campaign. This helped his confidence a lot. So I don't actually think this is too cool. I think yet again it's the media. Yet again they're pointing at Everton. Yet again they're going after our players. And I've got to be honest, right? If I was Everton Football Club, and this is where I keep saying about we need to start being a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more bold. I'd start saying to these journalists, you're not welcome at our club. You're not welcome to do stories. You're not welcome to attend. Because if we take offence to something, we need to start turning on people. Because the only true media, in my opinion, is the football fan media. Yes, we don't know what's going on in the club, and we don't pretend to. We don't know anything other than the few little rumours, whatever. But what we do know is what every single Everton fan may think or has an opinion on, or they might have a different opinion to us, but we know that there's an opinion there. How many times do you watch things like Match of the Day, or you read a report in the paper and you sit there and you think, did you watch the same game as me, or do you know the same player as me, or have you seen the same thing that I've done? And I'm fed up with it. And Matt Law was somebody that I actually used to read his things. I used to think, okay, yeah, he's a reliable source, etc., etc., etc. But that thing he's written today, and the snippet that he's gone and tweeted as a result of it, I think is an absolute farce. There is no way, and I'd say this to any Palace fan, any Man United fan, any Burnley fan where Henderson has been. I think Henderson was at Burnley, and I know he was at Man United before, wherever he was. Jordan Pickford is England's number one, and Henderson doesn't lace his boots, as far as I'm concerned. He's not even close. So we need to have some respect on Jordan's name. Jordan is the same person that saved two, if not three, Italian penalties in the European Cup final for England against Italy. He's saved numerous penalties that we've needed. He saved penalties for us. So, look, for me, Jordan Pickford is England's number one, and he is, as I say, and I will repeatedly say, he's in the top 5 goalkeepers to have ever been playing for England, in my opinion. He's probably even higher. I'm just being conservative on top 5. He may well be top 2, top 3.
Well, you've only got to look at how many clean sheets he's kept for England, and as I said before, and I'll reiterate again, how many other clubs do you see getting absolutely pummeled in the media when it comes to the England setup and the England squad? There's no one. There's no one. And I know people who are not Everton fans will probably watch this channel and go, oh, feeling sorry for yourself, poor old little Everton. No, it's facts. It's facts that when you've got Thomas Tuchel doing his piece with what you've just read out, and then you've got Matt Law who's tried to twist it to try and make out that Thomas Tuchel has said Jordan Pickford needs to be playing for European football. I think it's an absolute disgrace, and I totally agree with what you say. All these journos that come out and they have a pop at Everton and they have a pop at players, you're not welcome at Finch Farm, and you're not welcome at Bramley Moor when we move there, because there's a vendetta against Everton. And I will repeat again, if he played for one of the other big teams in the league, Matt Law doesn't write that. He doesn't write that.
No. The other thing is, yet again, we've been linked quite heavily with Ben Doak. I'm not going to keep going over it, if I'm being honest. Like, I just can't be bothered. For me, if it's £30 million, I wouldn't bother. He's had over 300 days out in 700. We'd already done all the numbers. We crunched the stats. We did all that rubbish. For me, I just don't think this makes sense.
Doesn't make sense for 30 million quid.
It doesn't. There's one other thing I want to mention, and it's not player related, because we haven't been linked with that many players today, really.
Quietly.
Yeah, but the one other thing I wanted to mention is the stadium. So Everton announced or shared a little video today of the lounges and talking about the experiences. Now we had heard rumours that the Friedkin Group were potentially doing some work internally. Now, I don't know if that's true. I haven't been in the stadium. You haven't been in the stadium. And there was rumours that Everton might be missing the first 4 games at the new stadium. I get the impression that that might not be the case based on the videos they released today, and I think we probably will have a pre-season friendly there this season, and I think we probably will have the start of the season as it should be. Really, what do you think?
Well, we did get told that, you know, don't shoot us down. We won't say who told us, but apparently the Freakins went into Bramley Moor in December because they weren't part of the plans and how the setup was at Bramley Moor when they took the club over. Obviously, that was down to Mashiri. They weren't happy with a lot of things. They weren't happy with how the lounges were set out. They weren't happy with the catering side. And if rumours are to be believed, they threw a substantial amount of money to make these changes. There was stuff that hadn't been used was getting ripped out and obviously sent back or what have you. Apparently the lounges were looking like a building site. Now, I have seen that video today. I can't remember if I sent it to you. It looks fantastic. The lounges look fantastic. Now, listen, that could have been 1 or 2 lounges. There could be another 3 or 4 to finish, and they are behind with them. There was rumours that Everton were asking for the first 4 games to be played away from home. The more I see that video today, they've either got people working there overtime and they're really, really smashing it to get it ready. Because another rumour that I wanted to add to it, and again, it's another rumour, that Everton will play Roma the week before the season starts at Bramley Moor. So, obviously, if Everton are going to play Roma the week before the season starts at Bramley Moor, you've got to have the safety certificate in place by then. So all this work that's going on will have to be finished for the safety certificate to be given to Everton Football Club. So if they are working harder and they are working overtime to get all this stuff and the mess that was, obviously it's in at the minute, finished before the season starts. If we do get a fixture announcement that we are playing Roma the week before the season starts at Bramley Moor, then I think we can safely say we will start the season, whether it be home or away, but we will start the season with Bramley Moor being ready.
Yeah, I think it's interesting with that Everton Roma rumour because it's a bit dodgy where it's come from, isn't it, really? But it's come from a job site. It's come from a job site who's advertised a role for, I think it's a hospitality chef in one of the hospitality lounges, saying the date of the game. I can't. Surely, I mean, there
was other rumours circulating that it was going to be Roma though, and listen, it probably suits the narrative and fits in well, doesn't it? The Freakins own Everton and they own Roma, so it sounds about right. It sounds about right, and I've heard another rumour that we're playing Celtic as well. So listen, again, it's rumours, and that's what this news show's all about. It's rumours because me and Michael don't really know much, so that's what they are. There's rumours it was Roma, there was rumours it was Celtic. So
apparently you know everything, John. So listen everyone, while John gives us all of his information, because Dan Friedkin just happens to be his best friend. So John, speak to me. Can you confirm that Everton are in advanced talks to sign Jack Grealish on a permanent deal, please?
No.
Can you confirm that Everton...
I'm not putting my neck on the line.
Can you confirm that Everton have approached Thierry Barry?
I don't know. Have they? Listen, I'm not Mr. Everton, and I don't claim to be Mr. Everton. So
you need to get back into Mr. Everton's bumhole.
All I'm going to say is, if you want any rumours or any news that's nailed on, get in touch with Mr. Everton.
Yeah, Mr. Everton, whoever the fucking hell he's on about. Right, anyway, look, I am leaving it there. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, guys, as always. We haven't really got much else to add. It's been an awful video, really. Nothing good to talk about. Just rambling. So just make sure you desubscribe from the channel and never watch again, especially because John is ugly and your computers are now needing a wipe. because your hard drives are fucked.
Yeah. But I think you need to get rid of your hard drive as best way you can, because obviously there's different stuff on that than the Blue Boys network.
Honest to God, that's horrendous. You know, if a SWAT team ends up outside my house tonight and it's your fault, that's a shocker, that is. Right, cool. Yeah, I hope someone's bought your seat, John, just to smash it over your head. Anyway. Right, hit the like and subscribe, up the toughies, and as soon as there's any decent news, we'll actually do a proper video, because at the minute it's just dog shit.
But people love it. Go and get yourself a few beers, go and get yourself a Chinese, put the Blue Boys network on your massive telly that you've got in the living room, and have a Blue Boys network Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll send you the link to the other channel. Oh, spicy stuff on a Saturday.
Isn't it the other channel? Isn't it the other channel your missus is on?
Yeah, with your missus.
Oh,
where's Frankie? I want to see Frankie. Where is it?
You're playing FIFA.
Tell him to cancel.
Yo.
Say something to the subscribers, Frankie lad.
Go subscribe to Cross Park Podcast. They're better than these two.
Love that. Right. Peace. See you soon. Up the toughies. Peace.